no one was prepared for the news that came 12 minutes ago. Not the army, not the Korean media, not even the internal staff behind the scenes of the K-pop world that is so organized and organized. All glued, all fell silent, all hid. Because the sudden news not only touched the deepest emotional side, but also shook the foundation of what has been believed to be the absolute fact about the relationship between two big names from BTS, Taehyung and Jungkook, at 11:48 a.m. Seoul time. An official account that has been known to only share behind-the-scenes BTS documentary archives suddenly uploaded a video that lasted no more than 2 minutes. But what followed was a big explosion, a digital mess, a tsunami of emotions. Because it is in that video, without an introduction, without censorship, without narration, that there is secret footage from 2022 that has never been made public. And that's where it all started. Taehyung sits on HYB's rehearsal room couch, wearing a shabby hoodie and somewhat messy hair. His face was tired, but in his eyes there was something else. A doubt, a sense of fear. Then Jungkook walked into the frame, carrying 2 cups of iced coffee. There is no special camera greeting, no smiles, just silence. And then, the sentence that changed everything came out of Taehyung's mouth. Do you think we're getting too close, Kook? Jungkook was silent. No laughs, no jokes as usual. He just stared at Taehyung for a long time, before finally sitting down next to him and saying quietly, I asked myself the same thing. The video stopped, black, without explanation, and the world seemed to freeze. That's it. But enough to trigger a storm that hasn't stopped until now. Once the video spread, Twitter, Instagram, and even Wever's timelines were suddenly filled with thousands of speculations. Some panicked, some cried, and many did not believe. But one thing is certain, the video is real. The cameras used, the location, the way they talk, even the lighting of HYB's rehearsal room. It's all authentic. It can't be edits. It can't be fan-made. This is no longer just a piece of the imagination of fans or fanfic. This is a reality that has been neatly hidden, protected by NDAs and glass walls of the Korean entertainment industry. But Army asked, since when? Since when did such a question come out of Taehyung's mouth? Since when did their closeness become something they questioned themselves about? What not many people know is that 2022 was the quietest year for the two BTS names. Although they still appeared before the public with smiles and jokes, behind the scenes everything began to change. Tight schedules, pressure to debut solo, pressure from within the agency, and rumors that continue to haunt them make the bond which once felt strong and unwavering slowly loosened. In an internal interview that was never made public, one of their former management staff once said softly, Taehyung and Jungkook are like magnets. But sometimes, even magnets that are too close can repel each other. That's what happened. No big fights. There was no betrayal. There is no drama like a soap opera. There are only two hearts that are too open, too deep, and too afraid of losing each other, until they finally move away from each other to survive. But in the video, Taehyung's expression seems to show deep concern. It was as if he had kept that feeling for too long. He not only asks if they are too close, but also asks, is the world ready to accept their closeness? And the public, the industry, even fans accept that maybe that closeness isn't just a casual friendship. And Jungkook, the way he answered calmly, without arguing, without denying, that's what made the video even more painful for a lot of people. Because it is not only a tacit confession, but also a kind of honesty that they have never shown in person. Since then, the public began to uncover more and more pieces of the puzzle that had been scattered. Old videos from Bond Voyage, cryptic moments behind the concert stage, interactions that always felt deeper than the other members. Fans who used to be considered delicate because they called their closeness different are now actually considered visionaries. Because it turns out, behind all that, there is something really real. And the most shook? Some Army noticed that after the recording, their behavior began to change. They're still close in front of the camera, but not as close as they used to be. No more spontaneous hugs. No more whispers in the middle of the interview. No more staring that lasts too long. One person said on Twitter, they still love each other, but are too scared to show it. Well, we move on to the next part of this long narrative article. The style and emotions will remain consistent, deep, and evocative. Here it goes. That same day, amid the furor and lengthy debate that burned the internet, an anonymous former BTS documentary video editor, made a confession on an online community platform. Under the pseudonym K.H.1995, he wrote a statement that went viral instantly within 30 minutes. It was just one of many videos we cut. Many of their interactions are deliberately not shown in order to maintain the image of the group. But you guys are not wrong if you feel there is something more between them. That comment ignited the embers that had only been pent up. The hashtags #ProtectTaeKook, #Taehyung Jungkook Truth, and #HYBExplainThis are trending around the world. Most armies are united, not to judge, but to protect. As they know, the video isn't just a slice of the past. It's living proof of the emotional struggles of two humans who live in the camera's spotlight, yet are trapped within walls that limit the expression of feelings. Amid the chaos, an old fan account shared an archive of old posts from 2018. The writing was a translation of an interview with Taehyung that at that time barely attracted anyone's attention. But today, every word feels like a signal that has been ignored for too long. I'm not good at hiding my feelings, but sometimes I feel like I have to hide everything for the sake of those I love. Kim Taehyung, BTS, 2018. The eyes of the world are now not only fixed on the video, but on everything they've ever done. Every song Jungkook sings, every lyric Taehyung writes, is now viewed with a new perspective. Suddenly, the song Euphoria is not just about ordinary happiness. Suddenly, Scenery feels like a love letter that was never sent. And suddenly, all the things that used to feel like fan service turned into signs that had been shouted silently. Some international fans even compiled a complete chronology containing interactions, expressions, and key events in Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship journey from 2013 to the present. From their first rehearsals as trainees, nights of rehearsals until dawn, trips abroad, private V-Live sessions featuring only the two of them, until the seconds leading up to the last concert before they enlist. In that chronology, one thing becomes clear. They are each other's safe place. Each other's home. Each other a place to go home. But now, it all feels like a house with too many cameras, too many eyes, and too much pressure to pretend that everything is normal. In fact, some netizens began to voice suspicions that HYB may have been deliberately holding back the narrative of their relationship, that there is a systematic effort to form a certain image for each member and silence interactions that are considered too ambiguous. Allegations that Taehyung and Jungkook were not given the space to be themselves are again sticking to the surface. And the most heartbreaking? Despite all this hype, neither Taehyung nor Jungkook have given a single official statement. They were silent. And in that silence, the whole world seemed to hear a cry louder than 1,000 words. A plea for their story to no longer be controlled by the industry that shaped them, but to be celebrated by a world that understands the meaning of love without limits.